Hello, thank you for joining us for a quick lesson on how to use Guide. This is the official source of truth for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. On this site, you'll be able to review undergraduate requirements, graduate and professional requirements, as well as some of our non-degree requirements. You can dig deeper into course learning outcomes and learn a little bit more about faculty and previously taught courses. Today, I'm going to be focused on how to use Guide if you're looking for a graduate degree. So first thing you're going to do is navigate to guide.wisc.edu. From there, you're going to click on or highlight the graduate and professional. Go click on graduate. This is going to take you to all of the options available if you're looking for grad school. From here, we're going to look at our degrees and majors. And for the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to be looking at an engineering program. So we're going to take a look at Biomedical Engineering Masters. Go ahead and click into this. You can, of course, pick any master's that you're interested in or any PhD program. When you click in, this first page is going to give you an overview. This is looking at the Masters of Science. The University of Wisconsin uses what's called named options. So at this point, you're going to see what all the different options are for that Masters of Science. In the case of biomedical engineering, we offer a research master's, an accelerated program, as well as biomedical innovation, design, and entrepreneurship. Along the side here, on this right side, you can see what your different options are to navigate the site. And if you scroll down, you're also going to see the contact information for your specific program of interest. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the accelerated program within the Biomedical Engineering Master of Science. As I click into the site, the first page is going to give me a very brief overview of the program. The next tab is going to give me admissions requirements. I frequently joke with students that you should basically be able to recite back to me what's available on the guide site before you start applying to a program. This will help you better understand specific deadlines. You can see here for this program, they have a fall deadline, they have a spring deadline, and within that spring deadline, there's two different options. September 1st for international, November 1st for domestic. You can also see the summer deadline. You can see whether or not any tests will be required. You can click through and see what the English proficiency requirements will be. Specifically to UW-Madison, you will be clicking into the grad school minimum requirements for admissions. You're also going to see the letters of recommendation that are required. Don't stop when you get to the end of this table. You're going to want to keep going. Below, you're going to find anything very specific that the program wants to call out. Typically, they'll share something about how they're going to be reviewing your application, what's going to matter the most. Some programs are going to have exceptions for UW-Madison students. Typically, you'll see that called out below the table. You'll also see if there's any specific additional exceptions to those deadlines. So in this case, we can see that fall application, they're going to be doing rolling admissions. Rolling admissions means that once they start reviewing on October 1st, they will have a schedule of reviewing the applications that they will follow all the way through until they determine their final application deadline. So if you remember at the top, we saw that fall deadline of December 15th. But as we scroll down, you're going to see they have an exception to say a final application of April 15th as space allows. Not every program will offer this. Many programs are very firm in their application deadline. It will be incredibly important for you to follow up with the program, look at that contact information to make sure that you know any exceptions or additional guidelines that you should be following up with. You're going to want to start with looking at that graduate student services as a main contact if it's a very specific question. In this case, for this program, They've got an opportunity to sign up for some additional information. Anytime you see that sign up for additional information, I would do that first. That's going to allow you to connect with someone who's in an actual coaching position. Their job is to help you get more information about the specific programs and help you with your application. All right, as we looked at this application page, you can see additional information about what they require for their transcripts. You can see more of what they're looking for in their letters of recommendation. You can see the very specific advice they're going to give you about their statement of purpose. Make sure to look for the statement of purpose requirement. You may even want to click into your program's website to see if they are looking for anything specific to be included in your statement of purpose. You're going to also see that they've got information about what they want for their resume and then that application fee. We have other videos available that will talk through how you can actually use one application fee to apply for up to 3 graduate programs, provided you are planning to start in that same term. From here, you can click through and see funding. You can see if there's funding available. You can see in this case, their students that are in this accelerated program are not eligible to receive tuition remission. You can also see the requirements. This is where you're going to want to really dig into the program. Doing this all day, every day, my recommendation as you're deciding what program will be the best fit for you is start with job descriptions, anywhere from 5 to 15 job descriptions that really get you excited. What do you want to do when you're done with school? From there, you're going to look at those job descriptions and see what you need to have learned and be able to do. And then you're going to start looking at what program will make sure that you've learned that information. So in here, we're looking at this requirements tab. So you can see the grad school minimum degree requirements and policies. And then individual programs may have their own minimum degree requirements and policies. In this case, you can see that the mode of instruction, so this is a face-to-face program, and it is an accelerated program. Typically at UW-Madison, if a program is designated as accelerated, we are planning for you to finish that somewhere between 12 and 16 months. Typically, a program that is designated accelerated at UW-Madison will not have funding available as part of that program, but please be sure to check with your individual guide page for your specific program of interest. When we look at that accelerated, it tends to mean that students are not working full-time while they are in this program. If you are working full-time, you're going to want to look for an evening and weekend program, an online program, or a hybrid program. A hybrid program will have some online requirements and then some opportunities in which they require you to come to campus. As we start looking at the curricular requirements, every master's is going to have a different number of minimum credit requirements. As you are comparing individual schools as well as individual programs within a single institution, you're going to want to look and see how many credits that it will take for you to graduate. So you may find that the same major at another institution is actually 40 credits. So you're going to want to check. That's going to help you determine the cost of your program. You're also going to see this residence credit requirement. So that's going to tell you how many credits you have to be doing while you're in this program. The minimum graduate coursework requirement, and we'll take a look at how you can see if they meet that 50% policy. You are going to see what the graduation requirement is, what GPA you have to graduate. If there's any other grade requirements, so you might see something here about a specific course requires a specific grade. And if there's any other specific assessments or examinations that you are going to need to do in order to work in that space. And then we get into the real like nitty gritty of what you're going to learn. So we're looking at what are the required classes. So you're going to see in this case, this program is requiring 2 semesters of a specific course. You're going to see they want to see 3 bioscience credits, 12 engineering credits, numbered 400 and above, elective credits that are selected in consultation with an advisor. Typically, that advisor will be an assigned faculty advisor. And then you also have this project or independent study. And you can see this is, you can do 0 to 6 credits. So you could have none, you can do up to 6. You are going to want to look at what are the requirements. Every program is different. You can also see some specific language here. Students choose one of the following pathways. Of the credits above, 15 credits must be in one pathway. Not every major is going to offer pathways. Some of them are going to be basically saying anything within biomedical engineering or industrial engineering. So when you look at it, this one is telling you you must pick 15 credits out of one of these individual pathways. You'll see a brief description, and then you could see what those course options might be. We'll just scroll down here a little bit. And you can see right here, we've got an introduction to tissue engineering. A quick overview can be found by clicking on the name. You can see how many credits it is. You can also see this very brief overview. You can see any of the prerequisites. And then you can see whether or not it's meeting that grad 50% coursework requirement. And you can see if you can take it more than once and get credit each time you take it, as well as the last time it was taught. So when I see something like this, I would look at this and say, well, it looks like this class is probably being taught once or twice a year, meaning it was taught in the fall, but not in the spring. But this is not quite enough information to tell me whether or not this course is going to help me meet my career goals. So from here, I can actually go back up to the top and I can navigate into courses. From here, I'm going to go look for that course. I'm going to go to the biomedical engineering. And here you're able to look up any course that's been designated as biomedical engineering. And here's that same introduction to tissue engineering. But now I have more information available. I can see the learning outcomes. So I can actually identify what I'm going to learn in this class, and is that going to help me get the job that I would like to have when I'm done with school? This will help with choosing classes. It will help you with choosing a program. It will also help you understand, have I met a prerequisite? So on here, you can see this BME Pharm Sci 430 is a prereq, graduate professional standing, or a member of engineering guest students is. So we have lots of students who perhaps didn't start in biomedical engineering or didn't start in a specific major that is the same as what they would like to do when they go to grad school. And I get asked all the time, how can I know if I'm prepared? So my recommendation in that space is going to take a little time to look up the courses. So if I wanted to take Introduction to Tissue Engineering, I can see on here other students have probably taken BME Pharm Sci 430. So I can do that same process, go to the courses, find that specific course. Here we can see BME Pharm Sci 430. I can look at the specific learning outcomes. And you may be thinking like, okay, yep, I have actually taken a class that looks exactly like this or pretty similar, or a combination of two classes I took helped me prepare for this. You can also see, did this class require some prereqs? And so I often get asked, particularly if you're trying to move from something that's very different than engineering, whether or not you're going to be eligible. And so it's going to take some digging, but taking a look and seeing what these individual courses included can help you understand whether or not you are prepared to apply for the specific program. I'm using biomedical engineering as an example. Certainly, you would do the same process for any major that you're considering. I can also look at, we're going to go back to our guide page. I'm on the requirements. On guide, I can also see policies. So I can see what's been called out for prior coursework. Every program is going to have different requirements in this space. I can also see what's going to be provided or available related to professional development. And again, we've got that contact information down the side. One other thing I'd like to show you before we part ways is students ask, we were mentioning trying to understand whether or not you're ready to apply if you don't have a biomedical or you're trying to change from your undergrad major to a different space for your master's. So in this case, what I would also do is you could take a look at a tool called Transferology. And when you're in Transferology, you can actually look at, will my courses transfer? Put in your school name, what semester you took, what department. You could go ahead and put all your classes in, and you could see how they would come in at UW-Madison. And that gives you an opportunity to better understand, have I taken that zoology class or that BME Pharm Sci 430? Just doing a quick review to see how prepared you are for moving or changing majors, if you will, between undergrad and grad. Of course, I want to end by saying you're going to have questions. Take time to reach out to the program, get those questions answered. Again, if you see a contact us, use that information first. That's your first line of defense, if you will. That's who you should initially be reaching out to. Sometimes you're going to see an actual email listed there. A lot of times you're going to see sign up to receive more information, and that will give you the contact with the person whose job it is to help you and the persons who can best prepare you for your application. As you get further through the process and you've actually applied, you can start looking at that graduate student services contact as the person that you would reach out to with additional questions once you have applied to a program. Key features, you're going to want to make sure you know the deadline and that you know exactly what your program is looking for. Take time to figure out what they want in their statement of purpose. Take time to check if the program wants you to submit a portfolio or have an interview or any other steps that you may not just see when you're in the actual application for the graduate school. So you're going to want to also visit that program page to make sure you have what you need. You can see program pages are going to be listed on this side as well. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have questions, again, be sure to reach out to the Contact Us under the individual program that you're interested in. We appreciate you joining us today. Have a good rest of your day.